Think about the person you despise the most. The coworker who irritates you beyond reason. The stranger online who fills you with rage. The family member whose very presence makes your skin crawl. Now ask yourself a question. A dangerous question. What if what you hate in them is something you refuse to see in yourself? This idea sounds absurd, even offensive, but it is one of the most important discoveries in the history of psychology. Carl Jung, the Swiss psychiatrist who spent his life mapping the depths of a human mind, called it the shadow. Jung wrote, "Everyone carries a shadow, and the less it is embodied in the individual's conscious life, the blacker and denser it is." The shadow is not your dark side. Not exactly. It is everything about yourself that you have refused to acknowledge. Every trait you buried. Every impulse you learned to deny. Every desire you were ashamed to admit. To understand how the shadow is created, we need to go back to the beginning. When you were a child, you were whole, complete. You expressed anger freely. You cried without shame. You danced without worrying who was watching. You were selfish when you needed to be. You said exactly what you felt. You were wild, honest, and gloriously unfiltered. In other words, you were everything that society cannot tolerate. Then the world began to shape you. Your parents said, "Don't be so loud. Don't be so needy. Don't be so angry." Your teachers said, "Sit still. Pay attention. Follow the rules." Society said, "Be polite. Be modest. Be productive. Be agreeable. And above all, be good." Every culture has its own list of forbidden qualities. And every child learns that list before they learn to read. And so you adapted. You learned which parts of yourself earned love and approval, and which parts brought punishment and rejection. The approved parts became your persona, the mask you show to the world. But the rejected parts did not disappear. They could not. They went underground, deep into the unconscious mind, into what Jung called the shadow. Your shadow holds your anger if you were told anger was wrong. It holds your ambition if you were told wanting more was selfish. It holds your grief if you were told crying was weak. And here is what makes the shadow so dangerous. It does not stay hidden. No matter how deep you bury it, it finds a way to the surface. It leaks. It seeps. It erupts. Jung observed a pattern across thousands of patients. The traits they most despised in others were almost always the very traits they refused to acknowledge in themselves. He called this mechanism projection. Projection works like this. When a quality exists inside you, but you cannot accept it, your psyche exports it. It places that quality onto someone else, and then you react to it out there as if it had nothing to do with you. When someone's behavior triggers a disproportionate emotional reaction in you, when the anger is too hot, the disgust too visceral, the contempt too sharp, that is almost always a sign. Not a sign about them, a sign about you. The colleague who annoys you with their arrogance? Perhaps you have suppressed your own desire to be seen. The friend whose laziness enrages you? Perhaps you have denied your own desperate need to rest. The public figure you cannot stop criticizing online, the one whose every post makes your blood boil? Ask yourself honestly, what part of me lives in them? Nietzsche understood this too. He wrote, "Whoever fights monsters should see to it that in the process he does not become a monster. And if you gaze long enough into an abyss, the abyss also gazes into you." The shadow does not just operate at the individual level. It scales. Entire nations, entire cultures, entire generations can fall prey to collective projection. Every witch hunt in history, every moral panic, every culture war, every online pylon where a stranger is destroyed in hours. They share the same psychological structure. A group projecting its collective darkness onto a convenient target. Jung witnessed this firsthand. He watched an entire civilization, educated, cultured, the most philosophically advanced nation in Europe, surrender to its collective shadow in the 1930s. It haunted him for the rest of his life. He wrote afterwards, "The psychological rule says that when an inner situation is not made conscious, it happens outside as fate. What you will not face inside yourself, you will meet in the world." Now we arrive at the most uncomfortable truth about the shadow. It is not just about negative traits. Sometimes, often in fact, we suppress our best qualities. our gifts, our power, your creativity, your passion, your sexuality, your capacity for joy, your ambition. If any of these were shamed in childhood, if they brought you punishment instead of praise, they too went into the shadow. This is what the poet Robert Bly called the long bag we drag behind us. As children, we are radiant 360-degree beings. But every year we stuff more of ourselves into the bag. By age 30, Bly said, most of what we truly are is in the bag. So how do you know your shadow is active? There are 4 signs. The first is overreaction. When your emotional response is wildly out of proportion to the situation. When a minor comment ruins your entire day, the shadow is pulling the strings. The second sign is repetition. The same type of person keeps appearing in your life. The same argument, the same betrayal, the same heartbreak, different faces, same pattern, same ancient wound. The third sign is dreams. Jung believed dreams were messages from the unconscious. The figures that chase you in nightmares, the monsters, the villains, the shameful scenarios, are often rejected aspects of yourself, begging to be acknowledged. The fourth sign is chronic exhaustion. Keeping the shadow suppressed is like holding a beach ball underwater. It takes constant effort. If you feel drained for no clear reason, if life feels like an invisible weight, consider that you may be using all your energy just to keep yourself from yourself. So what do you do with the shadow? Here is where Jung diverges from almost every other psychologist. His answer was not to destroy it, not to conquer it, not to fix it, but to integrate it, to bring it home. Integration does not mean acting on every dark impulse. That is not the point. It means admitting that the impulse exists, sitting with it, holding it without judgment, saying, yes, this is also me. Jung said something that still shocks people today. He said, I would rather be whole than good. Think about that. The relentless pursuit of goodness, of being only light, only virtuous, only positive, is precisely what creates the shadow in the first place. The goal is not perfection. The goal is wholeness. And wholeness, by definition, includes the dark. So where do you begin? Start with your triggers. The next time someone infuriates you, pause before you react. Ask yourself, what in this person mirrors something I cannot accept about myself? Write it down. Be ruthlessly honest. List the traits you condemn most harshly in others. Then sit with the uncomfortable question, where does this quality exist in me? Even in trace amounts? Pay attention to your dreams. Keep a journal by your bed. The monsters and villains your sleeping mind creates are not random. They are you, in disguise, asking to be seen. And find someone, a therapist, a trusted friend, a partner, who can witness your darkness without flinching. The shadow was born in relationship. It was born the moment someone told you that a part of you was not acceptable. And it can only be healed in relationship, in a space where all of you is welcome. The 13th century poet Rumi wrote, the wound is the place where the light enters you. 8 centuries later, Jung arrived at the same conclusion through science. Your shadow is not your enemy. It is the doorway to everything you have been missing. The people you hate, the traits that disgust you, the parts of yourself you have buried for years, for decades. They are not obstacles to who you are meant to become. They're the raw material. Jung's final insight was this. The shadow, when integrated, becomes your greatest source of vitality, creativity, and authenticity. The very thing you have been running from is the very thing that will set you free. What you hide is what you need most. And the moment you stop running, the moment you turn around and face what follows you in the dark, that is the moment your real life begins.